because I'll always forget that. Cool. Yeah.
All right. Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning in once again to episode 7 of The Ordinary View, hosted by myself, Lee of Average Fitness. Where you can find me is Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. And obviously Gaz at GDC Fitness. And you can find him on every social media platform, I'm sure.
Numerous accounts.
Do you have a LinkedIn account? Everything else except...
Really? I do. I've got 3.
I've got a LinkedIn account, but it still says I'm a kitchen designer. That was like a few years ago now. So
yeah, but I gotta be true with LinkedIn. Like,
yeah, it's a bit too businessy for me. It's a bit too recruiter based for me. In this week's episode, we are going to be talking about the reopening of the gyms, which for those who are listening live is tomorrow. We've all been looking forward to it. In the UK, yeah, absolutely. So we've all been looking forward to it, but I'm sure there comes with that a little bit of trepidation, and especially for those who have gotten into fitness over the last 12 months, maybe for the first time, or taking it seriously for the first time, who've never actually been to a gym or not for a long time, or are now in a very different headspace to what they were the last time we were at the gym. So we're going to cover each of those kind of topics and popular questions around gym etiquette, gym FAQs, gym, what things to kind of avoid or what things to be mindful of when you are visiting for the first time. So cool. You posted on social, I've seen some questions and I've seen you got some. So I don't know if you want to start with those or do
we'll kick it off with them. We might as well. This is aimed at ordinary people's stuff, isn't it? So we might as well go with it. What people
obviously everybody who's listening live, everybody who's in the Facebook live chat, by all means drop in questions which we can touch on in a bit more detail, or if you want to keep it anonymous, then by all means, if you have the means to do so, text myself or Gaz, or if you want to ask after the show, then we can obviously go revisit that next week or whatever. So yeah.
So the first question was not knowing what I'm doing and not knowing how to use the machines and getting anxiety or fear when asking somebody what to do.
So basically being not knowing what you're doing but being too afraid to ask kind of vibe.
Yeah, like walking in and seeing machines and not knowing what to do. But the first thing, what you're going to have to understand with pretty much the whole premise of this episode is everybody started somewhere and nobody knew what they were doing when they first walked into it. Luckily, the majority of the machines do have a card or a print on the machine which tells you what to do. But hell, I've been into a gym before and then sat in the leg press knowing exactly what I'm doing as a PT, sat on the leg press and went, where the hell's the safety off on this? Because
because everyone's slightly different. Yeah.
Slightly different. So, and I'm like, personal trainer doesn't know how to use the leg press. Eventually figured it out. But it's a case of, yes, you might feel a bit daft, but just get in and do it. Everybody does. Everybody's been there. And for the most part, the gym is a friendly place. So if you just said to somebody like, excuse me, how do I use this machine? They'll probably be more taken back that you're actually asking them, because they probably feel like they don't know what they're doing and they feel a bit daft. So if you ask them, they'll go, oh, somebody thinks I know what I'm doing, and they'll help you out.
Little ego boost for them. Yeah, that's good. I like that.
And the majority of gyms have got a PT. Ask the PT. Hell, the PT will be more than happy. If not, they're a total jerk off. But they're probably just going to see you as a potential client anyway, so try and hit you up for to show how good they are.
But on that note, if you imagine, so not every gym is the same. Obviously, almost every gym has a slightly different setup, but you tend to find that in especially commercial gyms, there'll be staff who work in the gym, i.e. on the phone, on the reception, etc. And then there'll be PTs who work in the gym. Those people tend to be like self-employed. So by all means, go and speak to those people. But if you were to ask, say, for example, if I worked in a gym as a gym instructor or I take fitness classes or whatever, and you guys worked as a PT, well, if you ask me, I wouldn't really get those types of questions. I wouldn't really have a lot of like client interaction all day. So I'd probably be even more buzzing to like, I don't want to sit at my desk. I want to go and like get a bit more like hands-on. So there's that. So yeah, I know it's a very easy thing to say to someone who says, I'm too afraid to go and ask somebody. It's very easy to say, get over that and go and ask. The other advice I would probably give, if you really don't want to ask, is we're going to come back, I think, later on to kind of going into the gym with a plan of, don't just go in there and wing it. Don't just go in there and run on the treadmill, et cetera, et cetera. But the first time you go, if you've just signed up for a gym, it might be worth asking what's the induction policy, because then they'll kind of take you through the different machines. Yeah. Not to say that you won't forget, because, everybody does, but that's one way to go. And another way to go is if there's no induction policy, if there's no kind of, standard procedure for that, or if there is and you don't want to do it because you feel like it's a waste of a workout, why not go to the gym and kind of scope out a little bit where the different cardio-based machines are, and then just go through a light cardio workout for 15-20 minutes, running on a treadmill, maybe 5 minutes on a treadmill, 10 minutes on a bike, and just kind of have a little look around and kind of watch a few people in the least creepy way possible. Watch a few people on the machines that you think I might be interested in using, but I'm not sure how to use them, and watch them and see how everybody else does it.
It's just a movement. You'll see someone use the machine, and you'll get 90% of what's going on.
And you might want to change the weight, obviously, depending on your situation, and that can be a little bit clunky to figure out. But basically, everybody who's at the gym, there's kind of two people who go to the gym, two different types of people. There's the people who don't really feel like they belong there and are trying to keep their head down and kind of not look at anybody else, not get involved in anybody else, kind of, fly below the radar. And there's the people who really think they do belong there, and they tend to be so self-involved that they don't care what you're doing anyway. So it's, as I said, it's a really easy thing to say, don't worry about it, but just don't worry about it. Nobody's watching you. Nobody's looking, thinking like, oh, look at them. They don't know what they're doing. And if they are, fuck them. Like, just go and just keep your head down and have a little scope of a couple of different machines, and you'll get the hang of it. And it really, really isn't that big a deal. I can't stress enough. You really don't need to worry. You'll figure it out, and you'll figure it out quickly.
And as a shameless plug, if you really want to know how to use the machines, and you can get remote coaching from me, and I'll set you up on an app which has got videos on how to use every machine that I'll tell you what to use.
Yeah.
Pretty Safe Fitness, hit that up. Before we go on to the biggie, we'll go on to the intimidation side of things, like feeling stupid or anything like that, like not lifting enough or doing it wrong. Like, you might feel insecure about going to the gym, but everybody who's in the gym will also feel insecure, and they're too busy feeling insecure and doing what they're doing to take any notice of you and your insecurities.
Yeah, it's a bit of a strange thing, isn't it, really? Because, it's everybody knows that feeling. Not necessarily gym based, but just anything that you're new at for the first time. Yeah. It's the same feeling you get when you're going to a new job and it's your first day. It's the same feeling you get when you have your first driving lesson. It's the same feeling when you move to a new school. It's the same thing. The trouble is, we all know how to deal with it.
Yeah.
But we're still at a bother with,
Like, we'll build a bigger picture for the gym.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's going to be something totally different.
I work in retail, as you know, and every once in a while they'll ask me, can you go and help out in such and such a store? I know my job. I'm all right at it. I'm perfectly confident enough to go and do the thing that I know how to do somewhere else. But you still get that pit in your stomach about, like, are the people there going to be friendly? Am I going to get parked? Is it going to be is the manager going to be all right? Like, all those things still get to you. And there's only one answer for that. You're just going to have to go, and you're just going to have to figure it out. And if it's really bad, if you do go to a gym and for whatever reason it's a really toxic place, maybe there's a group of regulars that are always there when you go, and they're loud and they're obnoxious and they're getting your nerves or whatever it is. Well, you can always pick a new gym. You're not going to be stuck there forever. And on that note, when selecting a gym, it's probably a good idea to look at one that isn't a 12-month contract straight off the bat. Most gyms, especially smaller gyms, like independently owned gyms, for example, where you work.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's very kind of, chilled, drop in, drop out kind of thing. And even the big commercial gyms where they do have 12 months contract, there'll be some type of taster session where you can go and do one or two sessions or whatever. I'm sure there will be. And if there's not, probably not a good place to start.
I want to do a plug for my gym, because like I always say my gym's the alternative gym, not my gym, the gym that I work out of. Like, there's no pretty boy Geordie Shores, there's no absolute monsters.
Not the last sign up.
Not there before you. It's all just laid back as out. It's like average Joe's off dodgeball. But yeah, like we say, like I started off like I really wanted to go to the gym, and I was too nervous to go to the gym. I bought like weights and that, and I tried to do it all from my house. We all know that working out from home isn't the way you can. You just never do as much. And then I eventually built up the courage to go to the gym, and I went to the sports centre in Blythe. And for months, I kept my headphones in out of just being like totally insecure and stuff. Now I keep my headphones in because I'm an arrogant prick and don't want to talk to anybody. But honestly, everybody's went through it. I've went through it.
Yeah.
You've went through it. Hell, I went through it, and now I'm a personal trainer doing it. Like, you don't know what can change once you're in there. And I've been to hundreds of gyms. Some were good, some were bad. You move on for different reasons.
Yeah, I think that's another good point. Actually, is if you want to just go in and just have as minimal fuss as possible. Like I say, go in, do a 15-minute workout on one of the exercise bikes, or try out a couple of different kind of really easy machines to use. With your headphones in,
machine.
And with your headphones in, and nobody will come and talk to you, nobody will bother you, everyone will just kind of leave you alone, and you can kind of get a feel for the place. In terms of the intimidation thing, obviously it depends a lot on all the different variables. So what you're like as a person, whether you are a confident person or not, whether you're male or female, whether you are overweight or not, all those different things are going to play differently for each individual person. So it's very difficult to give kind of blanket advice, although that isn't too generic sounding. So when we say things like, don't let it bother you, and if it is bothering you, you're just going to have to do it anyway. What's the alternative? Is don't go.
Stuck in the same place.
Stay in the same place you're in. And you might be in a different place, and that's fine, Yeah.
Use the Van Wilder quote. Do it.
I will, yeah. So there's a quote in Van Wilder, which is, worrying is like a rocking chair. It gives you something to do, but it doesn't get you anywhere. And it's, it's funny, we both love it, but it's so true, because it literally does not get you anywhere.
Yeah.
You could worry for an hour and you're going to be no better off. I've been saying for years and years, think of all the things, we're going very, very big picture here. Think of all the things you've ever worried about, all of them, right? How many of those things actually transpired? How many of those things that you thought were worried would happen, happened? Yeah. Let's say 10%, which is probably way more than is true, but let's just say 10%. Well, straight away, we're down to here, okay? Right, of those 10%, so of all those things that did happen, how many were as bad as you thought it would be? If any, it's going to be hardly any. It's going to be hardly any. So, and look at every person. It seems like, I don't know if it's just you, maybe it's just the way our Instagrams and Facebooks work now. It seems like everybody have on both of those platforms goes to the gym, is in good shape, etc., etc. There's millions and millions and millions and millions of people who never been to a gym before, went to a gym and now love it. Well, that can't be a coincidence. It's because it's a nice place. Maybe it's, maybe if you don't like working out, maybe you don't like, really pushing yourself, etc., etc. The gym is a good place. It just is. And once you can get over that initial kind of, I don't belong here kind of feeling, you'll almost certainly learn to love it. You really will.
The insecurity and like the self-doubt and that, it just levels up. Like, I was insecure when I went training, like, oh shit, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. People are going to laugh at this. Now I'm a personal trainer. When I go into train, that insecurity is still in my head, because I'm thinking, people should think like, oh, he's a personal trainer. He should be in better shape. I'm the personal trainer who needs a personal trainer, because I drink and eat shit. I do everything I tell my clients not to do. But then, like, when I'm in the gym, I'm like, people would think that I have to lift heavier than this. Strength is relatable to whoever. It's different things. Or my form should be better. I should be able to do better press-ups, better pull-ups and that. Everybody's got insecurities, and so is the absolute meatheads who everybody thinks are going to be the worst.
Yeah.
They're not. They're the best. They know them insecurities.
Yeah. Who are the people who probably judge themselves the most in terms of their body composition? Professional elite bodybuilders. Mm-hmm. So if those guys are looking, and girls are looking and saying, I'm not good enough, I'm not big enough, I'm not strong enough, etc., 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 it's because everybody feels that way. Now, that's not productive,
we're all in necessarily, the same boat.
But it's not something that you should let stop you. There's I seen a video Will Smith posted ages ago now about, well, the video was somebody jumping out of an airplane, skydiving. I don't know whether he's necessarily talking about that, but what he was saying was, when you're petrified of doing something, when you do it, all the fear disappears.
I've just heard this on another podcast. I've just heard the snippet of this whole thing.
I think it might have been him talking about when he went skydiving. So I don't think the video was him, but
the story
he was
is
talking about it. Yeah,
he him and a bunch of mates went out on the drink and they decided they were going to go skydiving on the Friday. And he spent 3 days building, like worrying about it. Didn't sleep the night before. Like all the way there, hoping someone would back out so he could back out. Didn't. Got on the plane and jumped. And he was like, all the worrying was up until the moment of jump. That's exactly the same. All the worrying is up until the moment you're in the gym, and then it's done.
Guarantee, if you go to the gym for the first time tomorrow or at some point in the future, if it's the first time you've been, or if it's the first time you've been in a long time, or maybe it's the first time you've been in a long time and you've put a lot of weight on, or whatever your circumstances, you're worrying, you're thinking it's going to be this negative experience, guarantee any money you want to bet, you will feel better when you're leaving the gym than you did when you got there. You will. Yeah. It's just inevitable. No one's ever went in, unless you like break your arm or something, you know. Like, but yeah, don't do that. But other than that, you'll feel better. You will. It's just it's inevitable.
You'll feel better from 1, walking out, and 2, for getting over the fear of going. For actually physically just going, you will feel amazing.
And the next time you go will be even easier. And the next time, and the next time, and the next time, and eventually you'll get to a point where one day someone's going to walk up to you or message you on Facebook or whatever and say, "Excuse me, you seem to know what you're doing. How can you help us with this?" And you'll be like, "I've made it."
I am that guy.
Yeah. So yeah, in a really, really, really roundabout way, don't let it bother you. Now, like we said, there's a small percentage of gyms, I would assume, that are quite a toxic place, just like I'm sure there is in any business. And that can be based on, for example, when I think of like a bad gym, like a toxic gym, I'll think of like, some meathead owner who thinks he's the dog's bollocks, who's like the kind of bloke you just wouldn't want to speak to anyway, in any context, and like loud, etc. And all of his mates go there and like they don't like people, who are outsiders. They only like people like them. And, I'm sure those places exist. But the answer there is just don't go there then. Just don't go there. Just
find somewhere else.
Quit as soon as you can. Because
get a day pass. If you don't like it, move on to somewhere else. Not all places are
just move on.
To me, I'm not too bothered about that. I'll get on with that and I'll be like, all right, meathead, whatever. For me,
put your headphones
it's the beautiful people's gyms that I hate.
Yeah.
Your Geordie Shore wannabes. That to me is the toxic environment.
So like, I'm not going to put you on the spot and say give an example, but like I don't really feel like, I haven't really been in and around that many gyms, really, probably, on a consistent basis, definitely less than 10. Probably even less than 6 or 7, But anyway, I wouldn't say that any of those places gave off that kind of vibe. You would get, depending on the day you would go, and depending obviously on the size of the gym. You'd take for example, somewhere like Exercise for Less.
Yeah.
Exercise for Less, we both used to train there a while ago, and it was just enormous. And you would get a lot of kind of, like you say, the cast of Geordie Shore would probably train there. But you also got a lot of people who were clearly overweight and just wanted to kind of lose a few pounds and wanted to keep their head down and all that. You had every type of gym goer because it was such a big place. Whereas I think in a place like that, it's much easier to just kind of stay out of people's way. When they've got 6 squat racks, it's,
But I think it's the more the small town gyms with the big attitudes. That's the ones that where it's clicks.
Yeah, that's a good word. I think the trouble with that kind of place, we're saying go and get another gym. Well, that's easy to say. If you don't drive and you do live in a smallish town and they've only got one gym, then that's different, But I suppose the best advice there would be travel, get the bus. There's no issue with doing that. If you need to go to a bigger, better gym that's cost you a couple of extra quid to get to, do that because that's better for you.
Yeah. We're gonna have to tackle the biggie, aren't we? The biggie is toxic males towards females.
Yeah.
And I see this a lot. Obviously, we are 2 blokes, so we aren't going to be the ones who are in the position of this. But we're also 2 blokes who will notice and see this.
It's very difficult to give advice, from a male perspective, without sounding kind of condescending or whatever, What I would say on that is the good and bad part, but, essentially it's a bad thing. But the way I think of it is like, well, it's no worse than everywhere else in that if that's a wider problem in society, which I think we can all agree that it is, it's not a gym specific thing. So then you don't have to worry about it as a gym specific thing. So yeah, I don't know if that makes sense, but that's kind of the way I would probably think it through, in my head.
It's gonna happen. Like you lasses know what it's like. You walk past a building site, whatever. It's totally shit that women have to look either up or at the floor so they don't get both whistled and hound called and that.
Yeah. The thing I would say about the gym
best thing to do is look them dead in the eye and go, what the fuck are you looking at?
Yeah.
Swear to God, no man knows how to talk to a woman. He'll just shit his pants and start looking at his phone or his shoes.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. But yeah, I see it in the gym. There's a gym in Blythe, like where we'll call it the pervert perch, where it looks out with the cardio thing, and you're just like people hanging over, just immature. The people who are pervert and going on are immature little boys, and it just sucks for lasses to have to put up with it.
Yeah. What I would say is that from a gym specific point of view, obviously there is the kind of put your headphones in. Don't put yourself in a position where you have to listen to it. So again, I know that sounds like a really easy thing to say. Just whack your headphones in and ignore it. It's not. It's obviously not that simple. But don't be scared to speak out. And again, coming from my perspective, it's very easy for me to say that. Go and speak to, when you finish your workout, if you feel more comfortable, or whatever, go and speak to a member of staff in the reception area, whatever, and just say, look, can I have a quick word with the manager? Or email, anonymously the management team afterwards or whatever, and just say, look, this goes on in your gym. You need to know about it, and it's your responsibility to do something about it because it is. Like, it is their responsibility. If I worked I do work somewhere, but if where I worked, something was happening like that, and I was made aware of it, that's not cool. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, and again, you might be in a situation where it's not even other customers. It may well be the staff, in which case that's obviously even worse or even more kind of awkward to deal with or whatever. But yeah, don't be scared to speak out. If you don't feel comfortable doing it yourself, do it through the formal process of making an official complaint or whatever. And I'm not saying that'll go anywhere. And again, it's not something that I would necessarily have to deal with. So I don't know, but my opinion would be, if you can, take the bull by the horns and say, I'm going to train here, so you're not going to then. You know what I mean? If you need to get them banned, get them banned.
Right. You're paying your money. You want to better yourself. You don't let dickheads pull you back by just being little shits, regardless of youth, older, whatever. Yeah.
But what I would say is, for people who are worried about going to the gym for the first time, whatever, it doesn't seem to me, maybe I've just, blinkers on, it doesn't seem to me to be a mammoth problem. It's not like every girl who walks into the gym gets like a group of lads. It's not like that, I'm not saying there's not isolated incidents. I'm not saying that there aren't smaller scale problems, etc. But it's not like the way it's built up, I think now, when you walk in, it's like that. You know what I mean? It's not.
I think women have gained a lot more power and awareness around the subject now. So a lot more people are aware of it and won't be the way they are. It used to be very macho, toxic. It's still bad, don't get us wrong, but I don't think it is as bad. And I think
it's going in the right direction.
Majority of the male population's a bunch of beta ass bitches anyway. As soon as they make eye contact with you, they're gonna look away. So just stare them dead in the eye, like I say. In the same breath of things, though, I see stuff about and this comes from men and women against other women, talking shit about, well, she's got her makeup done on and everything like that. Some women, that is a confidence anchor for them. They won't leave the house without putting makeup on. So of course they're going to put makeup to go to the gym. They're not out there peacocking at the gym. It's another layer of security for them. Insecurity. So people just need to lay the fuck up and just get on with their own shit. And
it's a strange vibe. I've never really understood it. Why you would think it's any of your business. Do you know what I mean? And I'm not saying that I'm perfect or anything, but I just don't understand why people would take the time out of their day to kind of bitch about someone for no reason. It's a very strange thing. I would agree. That's probably as common a problem. People bitching about each other. The good thing with that is, if people are bitching with their mates, you probably won't hear them anyway. So it's not gonna affect you. But fuck them, like, if that's the way people want to go on, fuck them.
Same as everything. Best advice I can say is do you for you. Ignore the haters, because if they're spending time worrying and hating about you, their life's empty as shit and they're below you.
Yeah. In terms of if we're talking about the kind of the macho kind of attitude, that obviously the way that transpires for blokes in the gym is, say if I go to the gym, I'm relatively skinny compared to people who go to the gym and lift a lot of weights, etc., and I might feel like they're looking at me and taking the piss a little bit. Oh, look at this, look at this little boy here. You can't lift that, and you can't lift this. And again, there's no way to avoid that. That may well happen. That's going to happen in lots of different aspects of your life as well.
I used to train exercise for less before work, like 6, 7 o'clock, and it was always heaving with absolute meatheads, like totally shredded. Yeah. Not even just meatheads, just really good people in shape, shredded to bits. I would go for a shower beforehand. Everybody's walking around with their dongs out, and there's me growing on a shower with his SpongeBob SquarePants on and his pink towel. Just fucking get on with it.
Yeah, just own it. Yeah. Yeah. Again, easy to say, but don't let it bother you.
Yeah.
I think that's just a general.
It's without. Yeah,
it's just a general problem. Is people don't want to look stupid. People don't want to feel inferior. People don't want to, and I'm including myself in this as well. Yeah. People don't want to feel less than, and that's understandable. That's not a gym specific thing. That's just a life thing. And I think personally, the best advice is just don't let it bother you. If we're going to look at, gym specific problems or kind of worries, doing the wrong exercises for your goals is one of the first things I wrote down. And that's probably not a really obvious one, I don't think. Because we've probably all done it. I've been to the gym today. I only put in 60% effort. Yeah, okay, I did it, a little bit of everything, whatever. But I've been to the gym, therefore I can have me pizza and me this and me that and and I don't need to go again and all that. That's a genuine worry, I think, for some people. Is like, am I doing what I should be doing for my goals? If you've got a specific goal, we've talked about in the past, weight loss, for example. Well, if you're going to the gym and running the treadmill, you might think that's the best thing for you. Well, it's not necessarily, So
yeah, but if we're talking about starting out, just doing something is better than nothing. But obviously, having a plan and having a
plan is kind of where I was going. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, having a plan is obviously the most efficient and best way to go about things. But if you're thinking, I've been in lockdown for a year, I'm going to go to the gym. Mm-hmm. Go do something, anything. I didn't know shit when I went to the gym. I went to the gym and I learned as I went. Yeah. And then the more I got into it and the more I started enjoying myself, the more I started researching and looking online at articles and videos and stuff. It's a lot more accessible now and more mainstream than when I started. And I literally started just going in and doing anything, like just probably hitting chest with like 7 different exercises on the machines and not knowing what I was pressing. Now I go in and just do chest all the time because it feels good.
Yeah.
But do something, feel good about it, come out, keep doing that, and then as you start to get better, you will learn more and pick up tips and you will look into stuff.
Yeah. When I first went to the gym, again, I think it was the Sports Center was the first gym I really signed up to and went to regularly. And they at the time had a policy where they had to give you an induction before you were allowed to use the machines. And they basically said, like, this is the chest press, this is the lat pull down, this is this, all the way through, full body kind of thing. So I just did that. Yeah. I don't know for how long, but like a good little while I did. Like I literally did it in order, or pretty much, depending on if the machines are free.
You'll find a lot of the machines are grouped together as well. So if the one that you're standing in front of is working your chest, the one next to it is probably going to be working your chest, maybe your shoulders, and they'll be like quite seated around each other because you'll go to machine to machine for the most part.
All the leg machines tend to be close together. But
like cobwebs.
Don't be scared to ask as well. Yeah. Ideally, a member of staff, I suppose, or somebody who looks relatively friendly. If someone's in the middle of, we're going to come on to gym etiquette in a minute, but just while I'm on this train of thought, if someone is in the middle of lifting a weight and they have the headphones in, Devin can ask them a question.
Someone did that to me in the Sports Center. I was doing cable pull down and he pulled my headphone out.
Yeah.
I was like,
don't do that.
What the fuck? And he was like, how many sets you got left? Well, definitely not this one anymore, dickhead.
Yeah, we'll come on to gym etiquette as well, because I suppose that's a little bit of a concern for people, which is like, I don't want to look stupid in, saying the wrong thing or breaking some kind of unwritten rule. the obvious rules are like, don't turn up with snout on, and don't chuck water on the floor and like all these other things, but like there's a lots of unwritten rules at the gym, like put your weights back if you're using free weights, which realistically you probably won't be. If you're just starting out, you're probably going to want to stick to machines. That's obviously something we can talk about in a bit more detail. But there's lots of unwritten rules, and I'm sure if you just go on to Google and type in gym memes, you'll find a lot of the unwritten rules. But
squat rack.
Yeah.
Gym etiquette is quite simple. It's a lot of common sense. If you use something, put it back. Especially now with the whole COVID shiznit and stuff.
Well, yeah, I think COVID is going to make it different. Yeah.
Spray everything down. Every gym now has to have stuff by, whether it be wipes, blue roll and spray, or spray on and leave. But just make sure you're cleaning up after yourself.
Yeah.
If you've got a gym towel, give it a quick mop to get the sweat off, and then spray it down with the antibac that'll be there, or the antibac wipes. Clean up after you, clean the handles on anything you touch, clean the handles on, so we don't have to go back through another lockdown, because I do not want to be in the middle of the field with the fucking weights anymore. Stand in the snow, dragging 300 kilos of weight across the field to train people. I want to be back in the gym with the shelter. Don't care if it's hot, cold, I'll stand there. I don't care. I just want to be inside the gym now.
I think, so obviously COVID has changed things a little bit. You're going to have to follow the rigid rules, but I'm imagining they'll be quite clear. Like, the people who work there will make them undoubtedly clear. But the kind of the unwritten rules, as you were saying, kind of leave the machine for the next person, or the bench, or whatever you're using. Leave the piece of equipment that you're using the way you would want it left for you, i.e. no weights on the bar, there's not sweat all over the bench, all that kind of thing. If you are using the free weights, put them back. If you are using more than one set of free weights, so say for example you wanted to do a drop set of curls, you might think, well, I want to use the 16s, 14s, 12s, 10s, 8s, and do 10 reps of each. That's fine. Use one at a time. So if you need to stand near the rack, that's fine. Don't take every single set, drop them next to your bench, and use them for the next 20 minutes, because you've got to be considerate of others. I think that's one thing we've learned in the last year, is that people should make more of an effort to be more considerate of others in their everyday life, but especially in an enclosed space like the gym.
I'm gonna put a massive apology out there for this stream. I thought I was one step ahead of the tech, and I was using my phone instead of my usual two screens to read the chat, and my phone hasn't put any of the chat in, and there's actual messages in the chat, so we're not ignoring people. Luckily, it's only been in the past 20 minutes, so we might have to go back through what we've already discussed, so I do apologize. Let me just have a quick read. Someone else has been in your shoes before. So Suzanne's put, I try to remember someone else has been in your shoes before. My biggest worry is how fat I am, but then again, that's why I'm going to the gym to not be fat. Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, look,
that's a double-edged sword as well, though. You might be there because you feel fat. Others might be there because they feel skinny. What you're going to remember is it's your fat. It's something that belongs to you. You aren't fat. You can get rid of it. So don't be up here about being fat.
Yeah, I think, again, I imagine it's very easy to feel self-conscious when you're in the gym about, are people looking at us thinking like, well, that person shouldn't be here. Nobody's thinking that. And if they are, then they are literal scum. Like realistically, nobody's thinking that. If anything, if anybody spends any time on TikTok or Instagram or YouTube or anything, there tends to be two types of fitness videos. I don't mean like workouts to follow. I mean like, from a personal account, there'll be two types of videos. There'll be, look how much I can lift, right? This is impressive. Or look how good shape I'm in now. And very kind of, these are the results. Yeah. And there's another type of video, which is, this is where I started and this is where I am now. We talked about this a few episodes ago about, before and after pictures, before and after videos. That's the good stuff. The good stuff is, I started here and got to here. Nobody cares how much you can lift. They care how much better you are now. So use that as your motivation. Think to yourself, if you're in a, bad place with whether it be a figure, whatever, if you're in a bad starting place, just think how much you'll achieve by the time you are where you want to be. And that might take years, but just think of the difference. Whereas for someone who is relatively happy with their figure, they're not going to get that unless they become, an elite athlete. So if anything, you're in a better starting place because that's even more impressive.
See the progress quicker as well.
Yeah.
Noob gains. Always,
massive thing.
Always. Yeah. I've said it from day one. I'll say it again. Always take starting pictures. You will look the same to yourself in the mirror all the time. Yeah. Take a starting picture 4 weeks time. Look at it. Take new ones and look at them.
If you've already started and you're too late, take one now. Take one. Go. Leave. We'll wait. Go and take one and come back. Go and take one now. Go and take one when you're finished. Do it.
When I first started, a couple that are very similar here. So
yeah, okay, go ahead.
They're about fitness classes. The first one says, when I first started exercising, I joined my local authority gym, and I only ever did classes rather than going to the gym itself, as the lads in the gym were all, for want of a better word, intimidating, and it always put me off. I think if I went back now, I could probably equal them in my lifts, but it certainly put me off. So yeah, that's a good thing. Like, you were intimidated, but then you've went and done it, Suzanne, and now you know you're better, you're stronger, you got there. So mint.
But I would say classes can be good for that type of thing because it gets you in there. It makes you feel more comfortable with the walk to the gym, the bus ride to the gym, the drive to the gym, the parking situation, how you get in and out, whether they've got those self-thingy doors where you've got to put your code in. It gets you comfortable with all of that kind of admin logistics kind of thing. It gets you in that environment, gets you used to how busy it is, gets you used to how noisy it is. So I think classes, whilst they're not really for me, I see the value of them in terms of from a fitness point of view, but also from a just getting used to the environment point of view. I think that's a really, really big deal.
Another comment on classes saying a friend of mine used to do fitness classes at a gym where she lived. She hated it because it was very cliquey, but she persevered, hoping it would get better. Head of the clique was the instructor herself, who was downright nasty to new members and overweight members. She eventually told her to fuck off and join somewhere else with a lot more supportive of us. That again goes into the whole gyms, what we're saying about the gyms. Like, there's going to be toxic people. It's the society we live in. If you go to a class and this is the beautiful people again, the ones who are in their cliques, so they're insecure, and their insecurity is, it's made better for themselves to be dicks to other people. So again, if you go in the are dicks, go somewhere else. It sounds horrible saying you go somewhere else, but change the environment you're in and you'll grow.
Yeah. Or wait for them in the car park. Do them all in.
This is why I don't step foot in the gym. In my head, I want to, but then I catch a glimpse of myself in the mirror, and no way am I going to show myself up. Being overweight, I don't fit in with them, and I will be mocked by everyone, both and female. Honestly, you won't. People say, if you're in the gym, people know you're there to get better. They see, they understand. Majority's been there from one aspect or the other, and they respect you more for actually doing something. If I'm driving along and I see an old guy, an overweight person, anything running, I'm like, well done, you.
Good on you, yeah.
Good on you. And you're doing better than me because I don't run because I hate running. I get chafing and I get shin splints. So you're already better than me in that respect.
The thing is, though, it's very easy for us to say, like, people don't think that. Some people will think that. That's true. Your concerns are legitimate, but that can't be enough to hold you back. You need to push through that somehow, whether it be home workouts for a bit first to get yourself where you're feeling more confident, or whatever it is, or just biting the bullet and just going, or going with a friend, or any of these other things, any way to get through that, because that is a legitimate concern, but it shouldn't be big enough to put you off what is clearly, like the person said, clearly, I want to go to the gym, or I feel like I want to go to the gym. It's the right thing for you. So don't let that be the deciding factor. I'm not saying it's not a factor. Don't let it be the deciding factor.
Kev Chapman, who is also another PT from Blythe, he has his own studio and he's a sports martial arts therapist. We're actually going to have him on the show in a few episodes' time. He's put, no wonder people get intimidated. You just need to look at some groups on Facebook promoting filming of people that are doing exercise wrong or what. Yeah, like fucking gym memes.
I was going to mention that. Yeah.
Like, it's just a toxic culture as well. Like, we've touched on it. Like,
speaking of gym etiquette, do not film another human being in that gym unless it's someone you know. Just don't do it. Now, if you want to film yourself,
take the gym out of it and don't film anybody anywhere. Just stop being dicks.
You know what I hate? You know what is one of my biggest pet peeves in life, right? Is pranks. Not like I'm not like Ross or Friends where like he kicks off in the bed for doing pranks. What I mean is people doing things to strangers, filming it, and then like laughing about it. That's not a prank. That's just being a dick. So
it's up there with filming a homeless person when you're giving them like fucking food or money. Like, stop being
that's
dicks.
different, isn't it? Yeah. If you are in the gym or anywhere, but if you're in the gym and you're filming another person, fuck you. Like, that is an awful thing to do, especially if it's for a negative reason. If it's for a positive reason, that I suppose is slightly different, but obviously that can lead you down a very dark path because, you know, there's all sorts of reasons why you shouldn't be doing that. But if we're just talking specifically about, you know, if someone's doing an exercise wrong, why not go and have a little word? Why not say to them, like, look, don't mean to be rude, but I did notice, you know, this is this or that's that or whatever, and just be nice about it. If you feel the need to film someone, then yeah, just fuck off. Just don't come back. Now, next point I was going to make, was if you want to film yourself for various reasons, whether it be progress or whether it be checking your phone or whatever, obviously you're probably going to have other people in that video. You know, that's not the same thing.
No.
But I would say just
making them the point of the video, like the focus point.
Yeah. Choose where you're putting your camera or your phone or whatever. You know, don't hide it or whatever.
Tell
Put
somebody
it somewhere. Just if
you're
say,
look, I'm just going to record this set. Like,
there's an absolute. But just don't be secretive about it, because at least then if you've put it somewhere obvious, you're kind of giving everybody the best chance to, if they don't want to be in it, they can just, you know, quietly step to the side or whatever. That's the advice I would give on that. Next.
It's obviously named in the chat, but I'm not going to name it on here for obviously like legal reasons. But I had a gym induction at a local gym, and the person doing it laughed at me when I tried to do something that was years ago, and I think that's another reason why I can't bring myself to go back. That person is a dick. That person will almost certainly have been fired by now, not as a direct result of that, but if that's the way they are as a person, then they will have been found out. People get what they deserve in the end. So A, don't worry about that person. But B, I suppose bigger issue is that's obviously knocked your confidence quite heavily by the sounds of it. I've never heard of that happening before, all right? And I don't say that to kind of, you know, what I mean by that is that's so rare that, you know... It's a limited amount of incidents.
Yeah. But this is where training partners can be beneficial. I must be honest, I'm not a massive fan of training partners. I've been to the gym on my own a million times. I've been to the gym with friends a few times, and both are obviously good for various reasons, you know. I'm not, if you asked me, would I prefer to train on my own or, you know, work out with another person? I don't mean a PT, but like work out both of you as kind of gym goers, I would say I'd rather go on my own. But if you are in a situation where your confidence has been knocked that heavily where you would choose not to go, then I would say find somebody, ideally somebody who maybe knows a bit more than you or has a bit more experience than you in the gym, and ask them, look, can I tag along? Someone that you're comfortable with, you know? So for example, you know, if we're saying like one of our mates who isn't necessarily that into the gym could ask one of us, because then you're going with your mate, you know, that kind of thing. And I'm sure pretty much everybody will have someone like that, or somebody in exactly the same situation as you, two brand new beginners, because then you're only getting half the embarrassment, and you can kind of laugh together about it and kind of make it a bit more lighthearted, because it's just not that big a deal. Anything that happens in the gym, it's just not that big a deal. Unless you're injuring yourself, nothing that happens there is going to be the be all and end all.
I've got a couple of points to run from this, actually. Like Kev's just put there, in my studio gym, there is personal trainers out there who have studios, whether it be a rented space, a gym in their garden, like, which isn't in a gym environment. So you can go there and do all the training you want, or you can go there and learn the basics from them, find out how to do. End of the day, us personal trainers are there to teach you to drive.
Yeah.
And so you used to go out. Us personal trainers don't expect to retain our clients forever. We're teaching you how to go about it, how to learn what to do and stuff. Hell, if I have got a higher amount of retained clients than I expected, and I love that. But at the end of the day, at any moment, they can say, right, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to go to the gym by myself. Like, cool.
Yeah.
So
like a proud dad.
If the gym environment, we're saying the gym environment isn't as bad as you anticipate it to be. There is exceptions to the rules with everything. But if it is that bad, you can go with a friend, like we said, get a personal trainer in the gym, get a personal trainer out of the gym in their own studios to find out what you're doing. And the more you do something, the better you get, the more confidence you get. And the one thing you can do, you don't have to be going to a gym to get fitter, to get stronger, to get healthier. One of the best things you can probably ever do, and I'm going to say this is obviously coming from me, but learn a martial art.
Yeah, I think we should probably
go to a martial arts school. You will go somewhere where everybody has started as a beginner. Not one single person walked in there a black belt. So every single person knows what you've been through. They will teach everybody. I don't have beginners classes in my martial arts studios. I have mixed, because I know every black belt that I've got will help someone along the line, whether it's showing them a technique, holding pads for them, whatever. Martial arts is the most respectful place that you can go, and you will burn fat, you will get stronger, you will learn skills, you'll meet new people, and you'll learn to kick people in the teeth.
Very, very, very underrated form of exercise. I think we should do a whole episode on martial arts at a later date. And one point I would say on that is, I'm sure, again, that's not every single dojo, but it's certainly the majority. And the good thing about going to martial arts classes, again, if you can go with a partner, especially now, COVID style, you probably have to, I guess, really, or no,
as of tomorrow, it's just juniors at the minute. It's adults aren't allowed back until May.
Yeah, so when it's just easier. Just go with a partner if you can, or if not, that's fine.
And then again,
I think the first time I came to these things first, I think me and Johnny came at the same time. But and then obviously came on my own for a while, and then me and Emma went for a while, and then, a few different variations. But like, again, it's it's a very I'm trying to think of the right word, welcoming, respectful kind of. It's just a pleasant way to work out.
Yeah.
Because what's the biggest problem?
On the same thing.
Yeah, what's the biggest problem with working out when you first start out is you can't do a lot because you're unfit. That's why you're there. And it's not enjoyable because you're constantly thinking, like, especially if you're doing something monotonous like running or cycling or whatever, it's like you're constantly thinking about how hard this is. With martial arts, you spend most of your time in the gym, in the martial arts academy or whatever, is listening. Yeah. Listening and watching the instructor or somebody more experienced, or holding the pads for somebody. So like, you're only working out for a percentage of the time. So you've got time to get your breath back. You've got time to observe and learn the technique and kind of get to know people and all that. Massively underrated form of exercise. I'm like itching, especially this 12 months of dealing with retail customers in COVID lockdown situations. I'm like itching to get back to kickboxing.
Man, I haven't been for a long time. In a year apart from a bag.
The other point I would say on that is, if you are thinking, well, I'll go to let's say kickboxing or various other different martial arts with the intention of getting a little bit fitter, getting a little more confident, and then I might get into weightlifting. The good thing about that is, if you do come across some toxic places, you'll have the ability to deal with it yourself if you want.
Physically and mentally, you'll have so much more self-confidence.
Yes, 100%.
I dabbled in the gym when I first started getting back into things, but it was martial arts that turned it all around for us. Like, totally got us back on my feet, got us back into training, got us back into that mindset, and then I went from there to back in the gym full time, and then into personal training and that.
And the good thing about martial arts, again, is it's a discipline. It's not a workout per se. It's very like kind of, you need to do things a certain way. You need to be respectful. You need to all this and that kind of gets you into that kind of that mindset of the momentum.
And if you want to get technical on like calorie burn and stuff, I know like obviously watches and trackers, which we'll do a full show on fitness tech at a later date. But for a comparison, on average, I know someone will comment on it, an hour on the treadmill's 400 calories. My hit step class that I run, which absolutely destroys you, is a half an hour class, which gets you to about 400 calories. and I'm dead at the both of them things. I went on Saturday morning and did some pad work, and within an hour, bearing in mind I wasn't training for the full hour, I was holding pads and then I was kicking pads and stuff. I'd burnt over 470 calories, and I walked out of there fresh as a daisy, knew I had worked, but I could have went back on the Sunday. Whereas if I'd ran for a treadmill on an hour, I would have probably been in fucking ICU for 6 weeks.
It's a very again, you know, we said earlier on, you go to the gym, I guarantee you'll feel better. You go to kickboxing, I'm telling you, you will feel better. From personal experience, I said this to someone, I feel like it was Renf, or somebody else. I said this to a human being, right, at one point years ago. Every single time that I thought to myself, like, I can't really bother to go to kickboxing tonight, I might not bother, I might just like stick a pizza in and watch some Suits or something, you know. Sometimes I did do that, you know, and I was, you know, I felt whatever I felt, good, bad, whatever. Every single time I felt I don't want to go and I went, I was glad I went every single time. There's just nothing better. And the same would probably apply for things like playing football, especially if you like it, maybe not for yourself, but you know what I mean? Like doing something that you are going to enjoy, great. That's fantastic if it gets you into that workout kind of mindset. But yeah, martial arts is underrated, yeah.
I'm not going away from this. I just want, because there's still more going on in this conversation. But again, I'm going to apologize that I missed the group chat, the chat and the comments in the chat. I'm so happy that the majority of you seem to still be in there. You've been having a mint discussion about it, and that's what we wanted out of this podcast, is to build this little community where people can talk. And
don't listen to us.
As we get to know people, we can bring you onto the show. It's literally a Zoom meeting, and we can bring you onto the show and discuss stuff. We can bring you in for half the show and whatever. But
people are leaving now that you've said it. You're going to threaten them.
But again, still on the martial arts. Suzanne's put martial arts was the first exercise I ever did. Got to my purple belt and attempted a jump and spin and kick and ended up flat on my backside and scared myself. My biggest regret was not going back. Karen's put, love doing martial arts, gave me loads of confidence. Karen's one of the instructors at East Meets West. Absolutely like idol to loads of men and women across it. And like I say, it's given me all of my confidence back. I've lost count. And she's also put into the chat there, I've lost count the amount of times I've hit the deck. I have fallen when training. I've fallen when teaching a class of 30 to 40 kids. I've went flat on my arse and had the kids absolutely erupt in laughter. Lost control of the class. But it's like a bike. You just got to get straight back on. Like every single person, there is nobody who has learned a jump kick or learned a kick or a punch or anything and done it perfect. Not even when they've done it 100 times. Hell, I've done flying kicks since I was 4-year-old, and I still fall. Like we all fall.
Don't let it bother you. It's you know, it's not as big a deal as you think it is. I think we should move on if we can, because I'm getting too up a height.
We use a phrase. Play it off cool. So if you fall on your ass or your back, you do a sit up and it made it look cool. If you fall on your front, you do a press up and you make it look cool. My 7-year-old daughter went sledging down Atley Park, hit a rock, came flying off, landed face down in the snow. Everybody was like, "Oh shit!" And then she just started rapping out press. Yes, playing it off cool. That's my girl.
That's class.
Rev said, "I am a human being," so it was him. You said it. Honestly, Suzanne, get back to martial arts in any way or form. You'll absolutely love it. Everybody's
I know I've said it a few times, but I think it's really underrated. Me and Louise are on about coming back when obviously it's safe to do so. We're gonna come and join you. All right, I've got a couple of other things written down. Is there anything else pressing in the chat you want to touch on, or?
I think we're caught up with the most of it.
Cool.
And again, just thank you guys for bearing with us. Hopefully, anybody who made a comment was still there and we got to address it and we've helped in some little way. Like I say, we're not doing this for the monetized side of things. We don't make any money off it. So if we've helped anybody, that is meant.
The other things I've got written down are, again, the way I touched on earlier on about, doing the wrong exercises for your goals. Like you said, it's not necessarily a concern for the person who's never been to the gym, but it's something to think about. Working to a schedule is something else, which I think when you first start going to the gym, it's very easy to just think, well, if I'm not going at least 3 times a week, then what's the point? I would strongly disagree. I think anything that gets you in the gym is good, even if you are going to do the worst thing you can possibly do, which is go and walk on a treadmill. If that's getting you in that gym environment and getting you kind of used to it, fine. And if that needs to be once a week, fine. if you can go twice a week and you can start putting together a plan of, maybe doing 2, full body one day or whatever, coming out with some type of plan for your workouts for a specific goal, great. The other thing I've got written down is what to wear / what to bring, which is probably something else that, again, thinking back to the first time I went to East meets West, I thought to myself, do you have to wear certain type of trainers, or do you go barefoot, or do I need to bring my own water, or is there like a water fountain, or like how, you know what I mean? Like, is there going to be somewhere I can put my keys? Like all these types of things. Or when you're ultra beginner, they run through your mind. So
only one thing for it: 1990s bum bag.
Yeah.
Fanny pack.
Smoking, looking like Mr. Motivator. What I would say is don't stress about it. There's very little that is kind of different to what you would expect. If you want to use a locker, they'll have lockers provided. You might have to rent a padlock. You might have to use a pound coin. It just depends. If you're that worried about it, where it's stressing you out, ring the gym before you go and ask them. In terms of stuff to wear, use your common sense, and stuff to bring some water or an empty bottle. I'm sure there'll be a water fountain there. If you want to take, your pre-workout before you go, that's obviously fine. Don't bring a meal with you, but like if you've got a protein bar for when you finish, or even just like a little flapjack or something when you finish, you want to keep in your bag, fine, do that. I don't think there'll be any rules about you must not eat anywhere in the gym or anything like that. It's not going to be that.
Put spaghetti in your pockets for mid session carbs, mid squats. Just grab a handful of spaghetti.
I used to take those little packets of Haribo you get, where you get like 12
I used to take jelly tots.
Yeah, I used to take
no, just off my tits on caffeine the whole time, so it's easier.
Yeah. What I would say is, on that whole subject, don't stress about it. It'll very much be the way you would expect,
Yeah, just at the end of the day, you'll go right, I didn't need that much stuff, or I needed to bring that. It's trial and error with everything.
Don't worry about it.
Do it some more, and keep doing it. Ignore the rest.
And if you do think you're going to start taking it seriously, track your progress. Not necessarily just with progress photos, or obviously they are brilliant. Is write things down. So if you lifted a certain weight for the first time, write it down. Write down how many reps you did. Write down how many sets you had done before that. So it's no good writing down, today I bench pressed 60 kilos. Well, did you do that after 5 sets doing 40? Or was that your first set? Because that makes a difference. And also what I found really helpful with that was writing down how you felt when you did it. So for example, I've got a note in my phone. I looked at it the other day and I was like, bloody hell, this is from like 3 years ago. 28 kilo dumbbells, chest press, did... I can't remember the exact numbers, but it was like this set. Tried the 30s, managed them, but it really didn't feel good. I really felt like that was probably really shitty form.
You just big dick energy in his head because I've been chasing them 30s for ages, aren't you?
No, and that was it. And I wrote down didn't feel like I'd kind of done it properly. So I'm not counting it kind of thing, Like I managed 2 reps and neither of them were great. So it's like, no, that doesn't count. Write that down, because then when you do get 2 reps that do feel good, you're going to feel even better. It's not going to be like, oh, well, I did two reps 2 weeks ago, so I'm not making progress. You are making progress. It's just not as measurable. It's still there though. So write your shit down.
And if you don't want to take
your phone,
my online coaching app does have it on your phone where you can log it all and join it all in for you.
Or you could just, type it out like a caveman.
Shut up, you!
All right. Should we start wrapping it up, do you think? Or have we got anything else that we haven't touched on? Or?
Is there I can see the chat now, so is there anything else in the chat that anybody wants to go through? Like any experiences, anything that still worries you, anything we've missed?
I think we've pretty much been talking for an hour, and what we've basically said is, don't let it bother you. Like pretty much everything we've touched on is just not that big a deal. Obviously, we talked about, in particular, blokes creeping on women and all that. I'm not saying that's not a big deal. That's not what I mean. But all of the kind of feeling self-conscious, not knowing how to use machines, all of those things don't matter as much as you think they do. So
it's a lot of it is in your head, and I'm not saying that as a derogatory way. A lot of it is in my head, and it'll always be there.
Yeah,
but you just do it.
Yeah. But if something is happening in your gym and you don't feel like you just want to ignore it and leave and never come back, if you want to, if you don't want to let it inconvenience you, speak out. Speak to the manager, speak to whoever. Do something about it then.
Why allow someone else to make you feel belittled, uncomfortable, or ruin what you want to do?
Yeah. If you feel comfortable doing that, then do it. If you don't feel comfortable doing it, don't feel like you're letting yourself down or anything like that. Deal with it how you need to deal with it.
If you see someone hanging upside down from the lat pull down, resist the urge to pull your phone out and record it.
Yeah.
Don't be one of them dickheads.
Yeah. It's we're all the same. I'll see a video of someone, doing something hilarious. Like there's the one I'm laughing thinking about it. I shouldn't be. The one of the guy on the rowing machine. And it's got the Pirates of the Caribbean music in the background, and he's like going like 100 miles an hour or whatever. And it's like, okay, yeah, they are funny, but like really,
some of them are staged, and you can tell, and you can laugh.
Oh at them, yeah, totally. Yeah.
If you see something, there's a great thing by Amy.
Don't be a dick.
Like if you are that worried, there's a great video by Amy. It's a TED talk, and it's titled "Fake It Till You Become It," and it's a really good thing about mindset, about pretend you are, keep doing it, and sooner or later you will become it. And it was like it's how to get over imposter syndrome and everything. Like when I first started teaching martial arts, I was like, shit, I shouldn't be doing this. Like I was 19 and I was teaching like middle-aged people and people well older than me, and I'm like, shit, who's going to listen to me? And then I was like, fake it till you become it. Just do it. And I did it, and I did it, and I did it. Hell, now I've got like 25 world champions under my title with the rest of the people that
What's the worst that's going to happen at the end of the day? Look, short of injuring yourself, there's nothing that can go that badly wrong in the gym. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. All right, cool. Well, next week's episode, we're discussing having it be about work, as in how your work that you do affects your fitness, your physical health, obviously your mental health. And I don't know if that's locked in, but we've said it now, so it might as well be. We'll talk about work. We'll talk about the pros and cons of different types of jobs.
Yeah.
Obviously,
how your work life will affect everything else around it.
We're not going to be advising people to quit their job. Although
fucking right, I will.
I'm sure all of us have thought about it. In various ways, especially in the last 12 months. But
I'm going to become your Tyler Durden.
I'm just saying that, the things you do, I heard a quote from a video, again, by Simon Sinek, who I mentioned last week, where he said they're doing studies on parenting, there's that classic example of parents who work late, and have kids, they work late and they don't see the kids as much. Obviously, that's bad. They did studies and they worked out that basically it has almost zero negative effect on the child. The parent feels guilty, as I'm sure I would, but it doesn't really affect in the long term the child. However, parents who hate their jobs, their children are statistically a lot more likely to become bullies, and it's because the mood that the parent is in when they are at home is a lot worse. So therefore, that has an effect on their children,
your environment,
and I'm sure everything else. So we'll kind of go into that in a lot more detail. I've basically just ruined next week's episode, haven't I?
Yeah,
that's it.
Even Jim Smith, the PT, in his book says his fondest memory of his dad is seeing him at work and knowing he was happy.
Yeah,
that goes with that. But yeah, your work environment can affect how you feel when you come out. Can affect everything. We'll go into that. Like I never ever stuck to a job because I knew I didn't want to be in the rat race. That martial arts and personal training had to happen, but it took us 10 years to get me arse into gear to do it. So we'll discuss that, no doubt.
All right, cool. Thanks for listening, everyone. Thanks for all your input.
Thank you very much. I'm absolutely buzzing with how well this chat has went. Like everybody was like having a mint talk and there, like have a read through it at the end. Like really, really good. I'm so happy with that.
All right, cool.
Like always, shoot a message. You can either message Lee at Average Fitness, me at JDC Fitness, or the Ordinary View page. Anything you want to discuss. This is your show. You can come on the show. You can dictate what the show is going to be about by the messages. We will adapt and we will bring to you what you want to know about and what we can. And if we don't know, we'll tell you we won't know. We'll have a point in the right direction or we'll learn about it.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, cool.
Cool. Shall we send this off with 2 claps and a Ric Flair?
Woo! All right, see you next week.
Thank you very much, guys.
If not before.
Stay safe and enjoy the gym tomorrow because I know you're all going because of this show. Tell them the Ordinary View send you.
All right, see you later, man.
Like and share as well, please, because we need the views. The more people that views, the more we get up there, the more people we can help, and We become famous faces.
The more famous we become. Yeah.
I knew
Looking
that's where you
forward
were
to
going to go, so I got that before you.
that.
Enjoy.
Take it easy.
Bye.